moving very slowly, but that's because it's about to make a big move. There are two main reasons why I believe this is going to happen. But before we get into these, make sure to like and subscribe because I make these videos so that you guys can stay updated. That being said, let's get right into it. So, Bitcoin is making a move. It's going to make a move, but right now it's kind of in a standstill. It's been hitting that $100,000, $102,000 mark over the past couple of days, and it's kind of just been sitting there and it doesn't really want to move. Now, why is this? Well, looking at the past, let's go to the 5-year time frame just so that we can see a little bit more of what Bitcoin has been doing. So, looking at the 5-year time frame, you can see exactly how much Bitcoin has gone up. So, all the way past to this more recent dip. It's not super recent, but the lowest dip we got is back here at 15,000 back in 2022. So 3 years ago, we were at 15,000. And then we had this explosion to the upside. And then we had this range, and then another explosion to the upside, which puts us in the section that we are in now. But looking at the previous bull run, what we can see here is going on November 20th. In April, it started to ramp up in 2020, and then it started to go up and kept going up, had a huge pullback in 21, and then went up in January 22, and then a huge pullback by December 22. And then now we are where we are. So many people want to use this as the previous example of what's been happening with Bitcoin. But the two things I want to go over of why Bitcoin is not moving and why it's about to make a big move is one, because of the election. And then the second reason is because of who is buying. Now, let's cover that first one. What happened with the election? Well, back in 21, actually back in 20, when it started to move, who was president? Well, the president of the United States was Joe Biden, our former president. Now, he's a very controversial president, but love him or hate him, he did some things to the market that were not very good for it. He passed some policies that were not very good for the market. And we can see this through Bitcoin. You can see that it shot up, had that huge pullback as people started to see their stocks fall, as people started to see things reach an all-time high. People got scared, sold off. But then once it reached lows of $29,000, the people who could remember buying in at $15,000 saw the potential and bought in again. And then it started going up again. So back then, we could see that it was a very shaky market, and that's really what you want is a shaky market because that means it goes up and it goes down a whole lot. Now, what's happening is President Donald Trump is very pro crypto. So everybody went and bought crypto, but nobody wants to sell it. Everybody knows it's going to go up. Everybody believes it's going to go up. So if everybody bought it and now everybody's waiting for it to go up, but nobody's selling any. So everybody's buying, nobody's selling. Well, what happens when everybody buys, nobody sells, and nobody buys? What happens when the market becomes stagnant? Well, so do the prices. It goes in kind of a range and just continues in a straight horizontal line. Why? Because everybody has security that Bitcoin is going to go to the moon. Everybody sees it on social media, they hear about it from politicians. Everybody believes that crypto, specifically Bitcoin, is going to $200,000. What they do is they cash in, they buy in some Bitcoin, and they wait. They're happily just waiting. Which leads me to my second point of who is buying. So, Back in 2020, what people love to use as the previous bull run, and they say it's the best example we have, which, yes, it was the previous bull run, but things are completely different today. So, looking back, when it was 15,000 4 years ago, not many people were into crypto. Not many people were into Bitcoin. Not that there wasn't any, not that there wasn't a large following, but compared to now, it was not many people. So the market could go up and then it could hit a top, people sell, it hits a bottom, people buy, it hits a top, and then people sell again. It was the very few select, more day trader minded people who kept Bitcoin pushing and pumping, and then eventually it fell, and then they bought again, pushing and pumping. They thought, oh, if only we can reach 28,000, if only we can reach 28,000. Well, fast forward 5 years to 2025, what do we see? Well, we see the people that bought in at 20, 30,000, $60,000, when it's at $102,000, they're seeing gains like they've never seen before in Bitcoin. Not only that, what they're understanding is, hey, if I hold it, I print money. When I hold Bitcoin, I'm not guaranteed to lose money, but I'm almost guaranteed to make money. By holding Bitcoin, it actually goes up over time. So I'm just going to keep making money. I'm just going to keep throwing money at it. And so nobody wants to sell, which is why we have this big explosion of price here as everybody starts to buy. Yes, it goes down a little bit, down to around 50,000, but then it keeps going up to $102,000 where we are now. So now that we know the type of buyers we have, we know that the people who buy now, they're not planning on selling. They know it's going to keep going up. So until they see the gains they want to see, they're just going to hold their Bitcoin, which makes the reserve smaller and smaller, and nobody's buying and selling, which caused the price to go stagnant. Now, the second group that is buying is governments. Governments are buying. There's many countries in the US, there's many countries in America, the Americas, the US, Mexico, Central America, South America, North America, that are all wanting to start Bitcoin reserves. Break it down more inside the US, there's more states that are wanting to do it. Arizona, Texas, there's many states that want these Bitcoin reserves. So now what's happening? You have nations, you have states, you have billionaires, everybody's wanting to buy Bitcoin. And when these people buy Bitcoin, they don't buy $1,000. They don't buy one Bitcoin. They don't buy 0.5 Bitcoin. They buy hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Now, there's only 21 million Bitcoin. So as the pot keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller, price is going to go up and up and up. The people that own Bitcoin are going to look and see, wow, I'm making so much money. Let me start buying more Bitcoin. The people that aren't yet in it are going to start getting into Bitcoin, and the price is just going to keep going up while the pot gets smaller and smaller and smaller, because these countries don't day trade. They may buy today and sell in 10 years, no matter what happens. That's just how slow countries move, which we can utilize that to our advantage by trying to buy in before all these other nations do. So, what have we covered in today's video? What we've seen is there's two main things to focus on. One, that the previous bull run of what happened 4 years ago is not a super clear cut expectation of what we can expect now because of point two, who is buying, why they're buying, and how long they're holding. It's all different than what happened 5 years ago back in 2020. All that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.